What's up, guys? It's your boyfriend, Charm City Gamer here, back with another WWE vlog. As you can see, my shirt this time around is the Page Stick Again t-shirt. This is our first t-shirt released in WWE. This is my SummerSlam thoughts vlog. Like I said at the end of my Tiger Woods video, I promised y'all I'd get that video out to you, and here it is. Overall, I thought SummerSlam was quite an entertaining show, at least till the end. Some things that happened left me quite shocked, like with Jericho beating Enzo and Cass in the opening match. I honestly thought Enzo and Cass would go over because it's pretty much their backyard, but I had no real problem with it. The real shock of the night was Charlotte actually going over Sasha Banks to reclaim the NXT WWE Women's Championship. Pardon me, I got a little tongue-tied there. But now that details have resurfaced, I can see why they had Sasha drop the belt, because, she wanted to take some time off to heal some lingering back injuries. I personally would have had Sasha retain the belt and then take a month off, because the next review is a SmackDown exclusive review. I would have had her take some time off and book a #1 contendership tournament to see who would have the next crack at Sasha, since Charlotte would have already lost her contractually obligated rematch clause, but obviously didn't go that way. They probably want to do it where Sasha's triumph, her ultimate major triumph, is delayed maybe till WrestleMania, which I wouldn't mind that. A Daniel Bryan type situation would be very fitting for her. Next came the whole thing with Miz and Apollo Crews. Miz beat Apollo in a rather quick match. But I'd say that the next shock of the night was AJ Styles beating John Cena clean in the middle of the ring with phenomenal forearm. I was on the edge of my seat at that match. And when he actually hit him with phenomenal forearm and pinned him, I was like, oh, see, no kick out. And then when he actually got the 3, I was like, he beat John Cena clean! I couldn't believe it. And then another big match, you had the club actually beat the New Day by disqualification thanks to Big E coming out and saving his partners. And then, in the result everybody expected, but I was secretly hoping for different, Dean Ambrose defeated Dolph Ziggler to retain the WWE Championship or WWE World Championship. In the next match, you had Natalya and Alexa Bliss and their third partner. It was supposed to be Eva Marie, but because of her wellness suspension, she was replaced by the returning Nikki Bella. Yay! Not. And Nikki, of course, got the win and pinned Carmella off her new finisher. It's a fireman's carry cutter. It's basically what Alex Rella used to call the final score. And then in the match to determine the inaugural WWE Universal Champion, Finn Balor went over Seth Rollins, which I thought was absolutely the right call. Because Finn's earned it, and he has a lot of momentum running behind him. But what I didn't really care for was the design of the championship. I mean, you basically have a red belt. You have basically the same belt as the WWE Women's Championship, just dipped in more and more red paint that was left over from the WWE Women's Championship. I mean, if you want to talk about unimaginative design, that's it right there. I mean, I could come up with a better design than that. I'm just a fan, so that's saying something. Then you got Rusev with Lana against Reigns. That didn't actually happen because of a singles match for the U.S. title, which moves us to the main event. And this is the one everyone's going to be talking about for ages now. Brock Lesnar with Heyman defeated Randy Orton by technical knockout. He gave Randy, I think it was like 10 or 11 German suplexes. Randy hit a couple RKOs. He hit a second one and got a 2 count. And then Lesnar mounted him and hit him with what's known as 12 to 6 elbows in the UFC and legitimately busted him open the hard way. And Randy was left in a literal pool of blood. He had to get 10 stitches to close the gap. It was like right up here. There was a big gash of blood coming right up out of here, out of his forehead. He was leaking blood like a faucet. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out on the network. It is nasty. But he had to get 10 stitches to close that wound. And Lesnar was declared the winner by technical knockout. And then after, he was still beating on him while the doctors were trying to attend to him. And then after all that chaos was over, Shane McMahon comes in trying to, separate Brock from Randy so he can get some peace for a superstar. And then Lesnar goes and hits the F5 on Shane McMahon, the SmackDown commissioner. So odds are he'll probably be suspended for about a month or something to set up for his next big return at Survivor Series. But overall, it was a pretty good pay-per-view. But the only downside was obviously the questionable design of the Women's Championship. Universal Championship, my mistake. Again, I got a little tongue-tied. Only downside was the questionable design of that, and without knowing at the time the idea of Charlotte going back over Sasha to regain the title. Although it was a very well wrestled match, quite technically sound. I mean, you had Charlotte going for Razor's Edge, which was countered beautifully into one of the best Hurricane Runs I've ever seen from Sasha. But then there was a rather dangerous bout where Charlotte dropped Sasha back first over the top over the top turnbuckle. That could have looked really nasty, but it actually turned out okay. And apparently may have had another injury now that I remember it. During the Balor Rollins match, Seth actually went for a fisherman suplex into what is known as a package piledriver. It's called the God's Last Gift on the Indies. And Finn may have actually really injured his right arm because he couldn't raise his right arm to hold the Universal Championship after he won. And he was shown in a sling, so he may have to get surgery, which means he may have to immediately vacate the title, which means last night's match could have been all for naught. But it may be a blessing in disguise, because maybe we can scrap that horrid red design for something actually better. Like, I would have made it like, stars and planets and stuff. But overall, it was a pretty decent SummerSlam. Could have been a little better. Like, it could have been a little better with different finishes, maybe a longer match between Miz and Apollo Crews, because, they only got 5 minutes to work, so it seems like it would be a lot. It would make the match a lot more credible if he had more time to work with Apollo. But I am very pleased that the women got over 11 minutes to work, even if it was just a showcase to showcase a worker that really isn't at par of the other women in the match, which is Nikki Bella. I'd say in terms of wrestling ability, she's a little bit like a notch below Carmella and Alexa, and they just came up from NXT, so that really tells you something in my opinion. But anyway, this is just my opinion. I'm not hating on Nikki personally. I have nothing wrong with her personally. I just think, as a character, she's the walking billboard sign of what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to get away from the Divas and model era, and I really think that they should just, kind of devalue her as a character, and get her to maybe change her style so she more fits the whole women's wrestling stigma that we're trying to go for here. We're trying to elevate this whole thing of women aren't just for eye candy, and then you have the biggest walking eye candy example in Nikki Bella coming back. Sure, she got a big pop among her return, and why shouldn't she? She came back after what could have been a career-ending injury. She came back after, 11 months of an injured layoff, maybe a year. So, big kudos to Nikki for being able to come back. But I just think that they shouldn't have used that match as a showcase to put her over. But in any case, it was a pretty good SummerSlam. Some things I would have changed. I might do a, how they should have booked SummerSlam video. Some things I should have changed, I think, personally. But all in all, it was a pretty good SummerSlam, and I was glad to have seen it. So, till next time, it's your boy, Chomsy. Chomsy, I'm signing up. Remember, if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to support me on the channel. And as always, keep it charming, and watch out for any more WWE vlogs in the near future. Till next time, peace out.